The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you find it hard staying optimistic with all the financial news in the media? I'm Bernard Hickey, and on my podcast, When the Facts Change, I'm here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of economics in Aotearoa. So join the conversation every Friday on When the Facts Change, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in partnership with KiwiBank.
So say my name. Scene one and slap. Yeah. Lance Savali, Scene 1.
Out now on The Spin-off, a brand new season of First. Watch episode 1 featuring DJ, dancer and all-round entertainer Lance Savali at thespinoff.co.nz/videos. New episodes out weekly.
What am I doing here? Who am I? Am I going to survive?
The new Technics A800 premium wireless headphones and AZ60 true wireless earbuds feature industry-leading noise cancelling, multi-point Bluetooth connection, superior call quality and long-lasting battery life. Indulge in superior sound like never before with Technics.
Kia ora koutou, welcome to The Real Recap. This is Team Real Pod recapping Married at First Sight Australia. We're into week 7, and in breaking news, we've decided what our next Real Recap series is going to be. So we'll just, shall we? Should we just
Are
tell
we allowed
everyone?
to say?
I don't know. Why not? We know it's coming.
Schmoun schmunda.
Schmishmo, schmeck, schmoun schmunda. That is going to be our next exciting Real Recap breakout series. Hi Alex, hi Duncan.
Hello.
Kia ora, Jane.
We've lost 100 listeners just then.
That's fine. That's fine. We're cutting the wheat from the chaff. We're on week 7 of Married at First Sight Australia, and we're cutting some couples out there too.
Yeah. They
Rest in
were
peace.
mainly chaff.
They were mainly chaff. It's
That
true.
is not chaff.
That is quite chaffy.
We said goodbye to Matt and Kate, who just couldn't find love with each other.
You just got rid of us. We've all been there.
It's quite frustrating this season because there just isn't the same volume of shooting, and the way that he was sorrifying was like it made it sound like he'd done the worst thing, but I get the feeling it was basically fine.
I don't know. There was definitely going into people's rooms in the middle of the night. And it wasn't because I think it would have been a very different vibe if he'd been partying with everyone else. But it was sort of like he went out.
He was alone.
Alone.
Out of his mind.
So it would have been a real stark contrast to everyone else who was just having a lovely slumber at 3 a.m, you know?
Can do okay, I know this is not the focal point of the episodes. But what do you think it was just lost the ability to read and just had to go door to door to be like, is this my house?
No, because he was trying. He was like, Mitchie, come out for a drink, Mitchie. He knew where he was going.
Look, to be fair, it wasn't going to take much for Kate to sign the divorce papers here, you know? If she needed a reason, this was as good as any. He knew it. That's why the apology was so effusive.
He kind of went out in a for someone who has basically had to leave because they had too many beers, he went out in a real dignified way with that kind of, I still believe, but I have to recognise that this dog won't hunt.
You know what he should do? He should life coach politicians to accept responsibility, apologise in the kind of way that afterwards you're like, it's all good, mate. You're fine, you know? We also said goodbye to our throuple. So we're talking about Carolina, Dion and Danny. Carolina was a no-show, first of all. And Dion was, everyone was just heaping the love on Dion.
Oh,
you know who was king?
King
Shit. Tamara was heaping some love on him. Did anyone get a bit of a vibe there?
Oh. No.
Because she was sitting next to him during the trauma and was, and he came off incredibly well there. And this was during a low point for Brent and Tamara. And I was like,
Interesting. She
I can
does
kinda-
like a guy with designer clothes and nice cars.
Yes.
In her
Big
audition
bucks,
tape.
you know. I'm just saying.
Okay, watch this space. We haven't had a king in the commitment ceremony since King Dingaling.
Good callback, Jane.
Yeah. So the Liv and Jackson were sort of. It's kind of annoying that it was them who were on the couch when these guys walked in. And when I say these guys, Carolina and Danny walked in hand and just absolutely upended everything. But Liv, it was time for her comeuppance for being a bit of a dick
she'll
at
keep,
the retreat.
though.
She'll keep.
I also have a conspiracy theory about this. I don't know what you think about them walking in and whether it was orchestrated or not, because they seemingly were not mic'd.
They were mic'd.
They were mic'd when they first came in and they got remic'd.
They didn't get remic'd. The sound guy came over and fiddled with their lapels.
Yeah, I
but that
agree.
is not how you mic someone. You have
Yeah.
to run a pack down their back, run the cable up. You don't just go over
So
and
did
play
they
with the collar.
dip? Because Daniel came in kind of talking, but it was roomy. It sounded roomy. But do you think that was like on purpose?
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
they've tried to make it look like that. Of course it was coordinated.
Because, Olivia has an unlikely ally in Carolina in their hate for Dom. I think Olivia asked Carolina and Danny to walk in during their couch session so she would not have to front up to being a horrible person.
Wow, that's huge.
No.
No, I don't
But
agree.
good theory.
I think so.
I do think there's probably someone on the door of the location that stops people just walking on in. So I think that, they were definitely granted access. There were definitely people who knew about it. But, what a lovely...
I just wonder
I don't
why
think
would
I don't
you
think the
not?
experts knew, though. I think they kept it...
Agree.
I believe
agree.
it. Yeah.
I think they very deliberately have the experts kind of responding in real time kind of thing. But just in general, the way that episode was sort of staged with production and the level of the amount that we saw behind the way that the thing's put together, even down to the you'll all have your turn kind of the watching the way that John sort of owns the it was really, really riveting to watch, even as predictable as it was.
And then he kind of did the thing where you think that he's going to let them back into the experiment, and then he was like, not on your Nelly. Not in those words. He was, much more kind of laid-back, cool John Aitken about it.
Yeah. He is seemingly the director of the show, right? Because he's like, we're just going to hold for audio, everybody.
Yeah.
Where's the director?
But I wonder if he's got an earpiece and he's just
True.
getting the.
They're telling him.
Yeah, it was quite a fun new because they have to shuffle things up a bit. We've had the same storylines of unfaithfulness and so on for years, so this was kind of like a fun spin on it. Not for Dion, obviously, but for me.
But as Mel said, this has been your audition. Dion could not have presented better or held himself better through all that, and Dion's going to be fine.
Well, you know who's going to come back for next season? Surely.
Dion.
Surely Dion gets
Second
the
shot at
redemption,
love.
second shot at love like they gave to, what's her name?
Lizzie.
Old pizza in the
How
toaster.
good is it that we know everyone's name?
We are so crap at our jobs.
No, but
Don't tell them.
But entertaining.
I liked how there was just open heckling from the floor.
Yeah.
Dom being like, you're a mole.
Yeah, the
You're
mole.
a mole. She fell on his dick. That's what happened. It was amazing.
They all got up and walked out, and then were back within minutes. But yes, no, they Carolina and Danny got a real dressing down. Extremely embarrassing for them. I'm sure that the heat on social media has been horrible for them.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's the truest of all love stories to make it all worth it.
So some of this you're like, I think it will be scary going out to do all the things that influencer kind of people in their late 20s, early 30s do when you have been that level of villainy. And they thought, we'll get a redemption arc by showing our love. And John's just like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
I
absolutely not.
honestly reckon, though, compared to Liv, I'm like, you guys are all good.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
truly.
You're just following your heart.
And also, it was never going to happen with Carolina and Dion, was it? It just it's not like, I don't know. That was not something that was ever going to work out. So anyway, good luck, everyone. Find love. Let's move on to what was the week? Oh, Homestays.
El Rancho.
Pretty much a perfect week of MAFS.
Amazing
A
week.
lot of very funny stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of very like sweet stuff. Bookended by these two completely crazy, uncontrollable controls. If you're ranking the weeks, this is
a big one.
Should be up there.
Okay, so we'll just quickly touch on Sam and Al, who in the commitment ceremony, Sam wanted to leave. Al said he wanted to stay for personal development, which is not really. I want to drag you through this because I feel like I've learnt so much. I can use a washing machine now.
Yeah.
He's a cutie boy, though.
He is, I know, but I think he just doesn't. He doesn't communicate what he means to say very well. So when he says personal development, I think he means in the relationship, but it sounded like he was like, sorry, it's not working for you, but I am actually growing.
Yeah.
So I think we should stay.
Oh, man. My favourite Al moment of the week was when, this is a bit of a throw forward to the photo thing, but when they had that supercut of all the people talking about the photo and they ended it on Al with his kind of classic face going, what's the photo? What was the photo?
Just big old eyes, eh?
So cute.
Everything is for the first time for Al.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Amazing.
they're told to stay on for 24 hours.
Yeah, I like this new kind of clause. The
Yeah.
experts in making stuff up on the fly.
And then
It's sort of the jazz version of Married at First Sight.
Al works his magic and goes for a bit of what do they do? Some diving, go to the
Snorkeling.
beach, some snorkeling.
Did you notice Samantha's tattoo?
Oh,
Delicate
Yeah.
across her abdomen.
No.
I
In
did notice
a Duncan style Taika Waititi. Fans of the pod will remember.
No.
Yeah. It happened and it was strange.
Yeah, it's really hard to...
They're like fragile, handle with care kind of a...
No, but it was in a kind of gothic
It's in-
writing.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
just
know.
a real cool underground band or something.
Something.
Anyway, he managed to sort of win her over for the week. So she looks set to stick around for some more friend hangs.
Yeah.
They didn't do homestays because obviously they were in triage.
But it did vibe like maybe they had sort of hooked up again.
The beach does strange things to Samantha. As she
Yeah.
said, she's like the sun, the sand. It's like
Sexy.
sex, the tanning. So who knows? But yeah, Al is just a clown.
Jack and Dom had an adorable homestay. I do want to point something out though. Remember, cast your mind back to when they first went on honeymoon and saw a little lamb being born. And they were all like, this is amazing. She's grown up on a farm full of sheep, presumably birthing lambs. You know?
Dad has a sheep murder shed
He
as
does.
well. So she's
A
seen the whole
slaughterhouse.
thing. I loved El Rancho Farm.
Oh my God, that place is so great. Her family, so cool. Loved every single one of them.
They're like Teletubbies tied to the thing on the top. It was just like a fun house.
And Dad's like bicep
Slowly
curls.
lifting weights. So cool.
Never forgetting that she was on mic.
That's right.
And
yeah.
Mum being like, you're on the microphone, they're recording us.
The whole, that place, I sort of semi-legit think that they could just open it to the public and charge admission and that there'd be enough MAFS fans just wanting to vibe out there or rent it as a venue for like a, you know.
And the dog did a massive shit just as as
amazing.
as Jack's parents were pulling up. So this was cool. They had the both sets of in-laws get
Which
together over
doesn't
lunch.
happen.
No, and it's actually I think
Really?
something they should do more often.
Yeah. It's very high stakes. Like, the
Yeah.
parents' meeting is crazy.
I think it really solidifies the relationship, and there was very different people from very, very different backgrounds coming together nothing will bring you together more than like amazing Italian food. That food looked so
I'm
effing
so
yum.
hungry.
so hungry right now.
I just was the food this week was quite great.
Have you got any food?
I've got nothing.
I don't
Sorry.
want Cody's mum's food though. No offense.
Cody's mum's food.
I thought it was fine.
Well, she kept apologising about it, and it made me think that it was like
Yeah, but
some kind
sometimes people do that as a way of fishing for
stroganoff.
compliments. Hi.
I can't even remember. I know that when Brent and Tamara went for lunch, there was just water on the table. There was no food at all. So that's
Yeah, because they just like to drink 5 to 12 bottles of wine
and green juice.
of the evening.
anyway. So also Jack's got a snake, by the way.
I
Called
love,
Lucy.
I love when they're just flatting. Like Jack just lives in a flat
Yeah.
and he's got a snake. It's like I feel like they used to stage their houses back in the
There
day.
were definitely some Airbnbs.
Yeah, like at Brent's house. That's not his house.
Yeah, I
no.
don't think that's.
Did you not think it was?
No.
I thought it was.
No, I think
no,
that's an
stuff there.
Airbnb.
Like it's still like the furniture hadn't even been like. Just,
Liv and Jackson had an interesting homestay. So she met up with Jackson's flatmates, took zero time to tell them that she's a petty bitch, and goes on to detail the bridesmaid's dress thing, which is honestly, keep that one on the DL. Don't say it to your new husband's mates, and don't say it on the telly to all of Australasia.
What is she doing?
the things that she's like really proud of about herself. And the frequency with which she just repeats the same with the near identical phrasing and framing. Someone needs to tell her to stop doing that. Like she's so attached to it. I mean, it's her whole personality, clearly. But wow, I didn't listen to Real Podcast. I'm real sorry, but Nikki, my wife did, and she said, Alex, that you were like steaming mad with Liv already.
Yeah.
Can you recap it?
Well, what happened last week was Dominica Gate, the voice
Yeah,
gate.
yeah.
There was also
She just showed herself. She's a mean girl. She's just she's one of the nastiest. She is the worst reality TV
I think
villain
so.
I have
I
ever
said
seen.
that last
I
night.
believe it. And I also, can you call people a sociopath? I think she's a sociopath.
There's something, I mean, she does say,
She has
like in the throw
tendencies.
forward,
Yeah.
she says, I have zero empathy or something.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you see that? It's like, ugh.
And she's also,
kinda chilling.
she used the term white trash a lot to
Oh,
describe.
I hated that so much.
And that was really, and in fact, white trash is such a slur that Facebook have, you can't say it on Facebook. They'll delete your comment. Because I keep
Really?
getting
Really?
moderation alerts from the Real Pod Corner of people who've said white trash in relation to the show and being
Wow.
horrified by her use of it. So that gives you some idea of how much of an insult that is. And she knows exactly what she means when she's saying that.
Well, and it does sort of feel that way because Liv sort of poshes herself, like that. She sort of feels like she comes from a kind of, I don't know, a particular social strata or whatever. And Dominica has almost like a kind of rural Italian type feel in a way that where you're like, this does feel like you're. Yeah, it just.
But she says it. She's like, I'm a better person. I'm from a different class. She actually
My
just.
morality.
Yeah.
It's
her morals
it's beyond.
and her morality.
That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, both of those things.
On the last ep, Alex Casey declared that Liv was her fight for life.
That's right, I did. And I stand by that.
I would pay to see that.
Yeah, I would also pay.
I will train because I know she's not going
And
near
she's
a
not
gym.
going to the gym. She's not going to the gym. Exactly right. That was an extremely smart choice for your fight for life.
True.
Also, because of your Italian ancestry, potentially.
Wow.
Fly flag.
Fly the flag. I would do it for Dom, honestly.
Now, she went on to explain about the gym situation as well to Jackson's friends, and she's worried about how much time with her he'd be sacrificing by going to the gym. Now, I'm not going to defend Liv here, but I'm going to defend her reasoning because in this conversation, it turns out if they stay together, she's going to be visiting him for like a week at a time. And he said that he goes to work, he goes to the gym, comes home, has a Sammy or something, goes straight to bed. So if she's there for a week and he's spending all of his spare time at the gym, I can understand why that would. But because I don't like her, I can understand why he wouldn't want to spend the time there as well.
But she also emphasised, she was just so demeaning and rude about how he's like a 20-year-old frat
know.
boy and all
I
that stuff.
reckon
Like
that's
it wasn't just about the time.
I think that's a Frankenbite. I think they're talking about Al. I think they're having a conversation. If you watch it back, I think that they're having a conversation. They're talking about someone else, and they've Frankenbited her there.
Wow.
Frankenbite.
Wow.
Because at no point was she like, that doesn't even make sense. In going to the gym, you've got to stop doing that shit. Going to the gym is not 20-year-old frat boy stuff. I think it's the shoeies and that they're talking about Al.
No, I disagree.
maybe.
I think we've got enough evidence about Liv's character that she could have definitely said that.
I mean, the main thing is like, he goes to the gym for maybe an hour, right? Maybe an hour and a half.
No, he reckons he goes after work. He goes and he spends the whole
I
evening
know, but
there.
this is like when he doesn't have anything else in his life. Now that he's got Liv in his life, he's probably going to stay up a bit later, or at least have a meal together. Like it's just how many hours is this guy sleeping? Like, so I don't really buy this. Like, I won't see you for 5 days.
Yeah.
Like it's. Ugh.
And it's also, I mean, people can go to the gym for whatever reason they want. Like, Daniel loves the gym. But the way that Jackson talks about the gym is like, it's very important to his well-being, his mental health, his whole thing. Like, it's not just like he's a juicehead. And even if he was a juicehead, that would be fine too. But, you know, she's just like so venomous when she's like, I'm your world now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's actually terrifying.
Like, imagine if she was your girlfriend. Imagine if you were in a position where you needed to break up with Liv.
No, thank you.
Jackson is in trouble.
He's here for life.
It did have very like Kathy Bates and Misery vibes.
Question, why didn't they visit his mum? Do you think that he kept her from visiting his mum?
Ooh.
Or does he not live in the same city as his mum?
I mean, there was this kind of state travel felt quite difficult at various times during production.
He has a very close relationship with his mum and he's very, very protective of her and his sister. So I don't know. I'm just wondering that with her showing her true colours, if maybe he decided to keep mum out of away from the firing line.
Possibly. And he did say the friends were, like he said, if you don't get on with my friends, that's a deal breaker. So it felt like he was laying the groundwork.
He's starting to look
pretty
for
early.
reasons, isn't he?
Like when they were cooking eggs and she was putting too much butter with the bacon. Like basically, it felt like he's turned and he's looking for excuses and sort of building traps for her that he knows that she can't resist walking into. And for totally sensible reasons, given that she's terrifying, but certainly like that just beautiful warmth and forgiveness that was characteristic of their early relationship is absolutely gone from him now.
Cody and Selena, this was a great homestay.
Wow.
What the hell?
God.
Okay, flatmate Zach needs to get in the bin. Actually, Cody needs to get in there with him.
The whole house needs to get in the bin.
The whole house already is a bin.
Or Zach and Cody in that house. Reality
Sweet
show.
life of Zach and Cody.
I would watch that. Okay, so Zach has peppered the house with rose petals, leading up to the master suite. On the wall of the master suite is a poster, a bespoke poster with Cody and Selena partaking in some watermelons.
Yeah.
It's a consumption of watermelons, but Selena's holding hers lengthways with a wedge
Over
cut out of
her
it
crotch.
over her crotch. And she's just like, is that my vagina? Is that supposed to be my vagina?
It's art. You decide.
When you yeah, so it could be anything. If you see it that way, I mean, when you first saw it, did you like? Because I was like, that sure looks like, but surely not.
No.
They wouldn't.
I immediately was like, this is frat boy flat. This is like
It is the boldest move
so
I have ever seen.
But also, Cody comes in and he's not like, oh God, Zach, you know, it's not like it's not like an O'Neill moment, you know? Like even Andrew had his like Neil leaving a poo in the toilet was a step too far for the new wife, you know? Whereas Cody's just like, this is great, it's hilarious, this is fun, I'm all on board, you know? Laugh along, love. You
He
know?
loves pranks.
Loves a prank. There was the Batman bedspread, which was brand new, so it was put on again to like his mate's trying to shame Cody out, and Cody's just loving it, and Selena not.
Just in hell. It made me feel sick. The whole house, the kitchen, the lack of furniture, the bins.
I was trying to decide.
The lake.
I'm not 100% convinced that Cody actually lives there, again, in keeping with this.
No, I believe he lives there.
Every time he opened things, he was like seeing things for the first time.
Yeah, but that's because he's just like, he's never cooked anything
True.
in his
He
life.
did have his mug there as well, I suppose. So,
Can we talk about Gilly Gate?
talk about what?
Gilly Suit Gate.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. A ghillie suit. Right?
That was a rare... I was sort of on Team Cody a little bit there.
This is just it was not really a prank. It was weird.
It was the most David Brent when he fires Dawn for stealing the Post-it notes and then she starts crying. And he goes, practical jokes for the good. It was exactly that energy the whole way through. Where did he get the suits from?
He got her dressed up in some bird watching suits, and then he was like, "Oh, I've got to get something from inside," and takes his off. And that's the joke.
Practical joke.
That's the joke. Is that like he's going to take her wearing a bird watching suit?
I thought that he was going to try and drive her somewhere where she had to be in a suit. I was like, that's awful. It was like, they're actually going to bird watching. He's just temporarily. It's a terrible practical joke. It's also like quite low stakes, so it's not that bad.
The execution was shocking. What he needed to do was drive there in the suit himself, and then get out, excuse himself to the toilet and come back fully dressed and she's left in the suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just needs some help. He needs to talk to Zach about how to execute a prank for maximum effect.
The king of
And then
Sting.
he ended up guiltily putting it back on
So they're both sitting in these.
and having this emotional chat in these suits.
That was so amazing. Like they're in the moments conducted in what are they called?
Ghillie suits.
Ghillie suits was just like, this is real strange stuff we're doing with our time.
Yeah.
Very, very odd.
I just love it that Cody has like botched everything he's ever tried to do.
Yeah.
And we see that at the dinner party as well.
But then lovely uncle, like
Uncle
Lovely
John,
uncle.
Uncle John, do as I say, not as I did. I've learned from my experience. I'm a lonely old man now, and you need to look after this girl. And
but also, like, is John single? Like, did you see his pad?
his house is
That's the
amazing.
spot.
Come,
My
someone needs to let
God.
Tamara know immediately. He said it was an extremely emo moment when Uncle John said his regret in life was that he wasn't more open and affectionate with his loved ones. That's a realization to have and share, for someone who's obviously quite a stoic man.
There's a weird world where I can kind of see them together in like 60 years, well, however long years are time, and can see her sort of healing him. Like she's so wonderful, Selena, and he is so broken, but broken in a way where you can see that the environment or events did that to him, and you sort of feel like sometimes you just see this expression on his face, like, oh God, it's getting through the ice kind of thing, and you're like, maybe. I mean, I'm sure they've already broken up, but still.
So, because he doesn't even really have a relationship with his mum, He said it turned awkward
Yeah, that
after
was
the death of
cold.
his dad. And
Very awkward
that was
dinner.
awkward.
Kia ora, I'm Simon Pound. You might remember me from a little old podcast called Business is Boring. Well, we've had a lovely long break over summer, but I'm happy to say Business is Boring is back, with lots of thanks to our friends at SparkLab. Join me here on the Spin-Off Podcast Network every Tuesday as I chat with some of the most interesting and inspirational players in the Aotearoa business scene, from accidental entrepreneurs to the brains behind some of the country's biggest brands. If you're into business or want to be, then make sure you follow Business is Boring wherever you get your podcasts.
At Z, we know that it's time to move from being a part of the climate change problem to the heart of its solution. And as a New Zealand company providing fuel to people in all parts of the country, we also know that we have a real chance to lead that change. We're committed to providing the right energy for everyone and keeping our customers moving. We believe that innovation in fuel and how it's used can make a huge difference to our planet. You can find out more about what we're doing in the Z app, and you can save money at the pump at the same time. Download the Z app for free and make your journey with Z quicker and easier.
Mitch and Ella have a happy commitment ceremony. They visit Ella's home in Melbourne. The whole tension between them now is, is she going to move to, where does he live?
Goldie.
Oh, he lives on the Goldie. Nice. I mean, it's sunny there. I can understand. Melbourne's miserable.
He keeps
Great
going,
city,
he's
but
like,
miserable.
Melbourne is freezing, is it?
It's pretty cold.
It
It's
is
like
pretty cold. They said it's 4 degrees overnight.
Yeah.
When they were there.
it's the
I didn't know you even got
Wellington
that.
weather-wise of Australia.
Okay.
And lots of other ways wise, right?
Yeah, true. Culture, everything. Two
Notebooks.
station stores. That's not going to make any sense unless you listen to yesterday's Real Pod, which you should do after this. Okay, dinner at Ella's house also looked delicious. So yum.
What was it?
It was, I can't remember.
Like a roast?
I don't know. I
No.
was absolutely salivating over the dinners.
I'm so hungry. Still.
It's weird that it hasn't gone away. Ella's brother has doubts about the long distance thing, so this is their story now. We know that they work together. We know that they're on their path to love, but can they find a middle ground to reside in?
There's
Maybe
only
Sydney's
one
the
way to
middle ground.
find out, Jane. A psychic medium.
Yes, this was magic.
It was crazy to have just to have a week where Mitch was almost like because Ella just wins every week. Like she's so amazing, and then I go to my brother for advice on all of my relationships, and if he says I don't know, then that's it. It's like, this seems like a bad thing. And then, but if that doesn't work out, then I'll go and get a tarot reading from a psychic.
But Mitch was polite, but he didn't do that thing where he just played along. She's like,
No.
I see you swimming with whales. I was like,
Is there a whale connection?
no whales. Fixing cars? No. And it's funny because we know knowing Mitt. He's not the guy who's under the hood, right?
No.
Absolutely not. It's like, no, not really. And then
But
she's
I
like,
love that about him, like that he was just like, yeah, this is total have.
Yeah.
And it's kind of freaky that Ella is like, but the tarot cards did say this. And I like that Mitch isn't going along,
And then Tarot lady just got her revenge. She was like, well, there's a card and you guys are fucked. So get out.
There you go.
Here's
This one
65
has got
bucks.
like a million swords stabbing into a body.
Enjoy that much.
So she talked a bit about ending things and taking time out and this, that, and the other. And obviously that rattled Ella, but we'll see where that goes. Brent and Tamara, as Duncan said, doesn't believe that Brent's studio apartment is really his apartment. Thinks it's a cheeky Airbnb.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why they were laughing so much? Maybe that makes more sense.
I think it's also why they were just like laying in bed drinking, drinking
Yeah.
coffees, drinking wines,
true.
because like nothing else to do.
That's true.
I thought he was a richo. Did he?
Yeah, but I
He
think
had a rich life.
Yeah.
in
Dubai.
Dubai, yeah.
And then COVID happened.
I mean, it's a big shift, isn't it? To go from like flying high in Dubai, shooting video productions at nightclubs, to your bed being in the kitchen.
The best moment of them for the week was definitely Tamara. Absolutely point blank refuses to believe that
Sea
sea lions
lions.
exist.
They do sound. It does sound like a silly
When you
thing.
hear the name, you're
That's, yeah,
that definitely can't possibly be real.
it's odd.
Because then you're going seals,
Seal.
otters. What else are there?
Walrus.
Yeah.
Walrus, you know?
You
No,
know?
that's true.
Feels like it's already covered. Like, do we
Mermaids.
need sea lions? Do we need to kind of have so
It's a good
many?
name. Sea lions.
Yeah, well, and they're sea leopards as well. Is that a thing?
Sea snakes.
Yeah.
Do you see what I see?
Sea horses.
Yeah.
You have a seahorse, you can have a sea
will be really
lion.
confused by a seahorse. Sea biscuit. Can you even imagine?
If I
She
see a
sounds
biscuit, I eat
delicious.
it.
And then there's a horse that's also called. Oh my god.
That's actually not copyright, Jane, right?
No, I don't know.
Who said that?
I don't know.
It's like a classic.
If I
The
see,
sea biscuit, I ate it. Is that a classic thing?
I think it's a classic.
there
thing.
is some sort of lame dad joke.
Seafood.
If I
Seafood,
seafood.
I ate
Yeah,
it. But I
true.
think sea
Oh.
biscuit's
I just
a new tag.
I just adapted it to sea biscuit.
Yeah, no, that
That
is copyright, Jane.
That's going on the Real Pod Totes. Sea biscuit, I ate it.
But also actual truth, by the
Yeah.
way.
I'd love a biscuit.
Yeah, I'm so hungry for a biscuit.
Go to the dinner party, guys. But don't think about the food.
Okay.
Because the meal is in the drama. All right. So we had a lot of teasing about this photo. So there's a photo that's doing the round amongst the what are they called? What are they? The
Participants.
Participants. And it's an OnlyFans profile pic of Domenica with no clothes on, going, hey, if you want some OnlyFans content, join me OnlyFans, right? Liv's friends Googled.
Bullshit.
Obviously bullshit, because
She
she
says
said
she says that she found
She
it.
contradicted herself the whole way through. Like, she's like really enjoying how maliciously how she got it and distributed it. And then at the table, like seemingly unaware that the in the moments might be spliced with the dinner party footage at some point, just claiming that her friends did it and that she just basically just never thought about it again. And
She was
suddenly there was
just
no
passing
malice.
it
It was just a bit of information.
Yeah. And no one, it was just, they just saw it in passing. It was no malicious intent. Didn't mean to rock the boat. No judgment.
No judgment. 2021. No
judgment.
slut shaming. I hate how she's like, if I say that, then that's not what this is.
But let's
It's
not
like,
forget that
no.
in the moments she's saying she's so below me in terms of class and morals, and I'm embarrassed to be in this experiment with her. That's Liv's quote.
Liv is training to be a teacher. Can I just say that?
No,
she will never
thank
work
you.
in Australia.
So that's the sort of the thing. You're just like, is there some sort of like fit and proper person character test with teaching? Because imagine, I mean, we've had teachers involved in Married at First Sight in New Zealand, and at various times you sort of winced a bit about it. But she's like my one of my daughters would definitely do some shit to really annoy their teacher if that teacher was listening.
Which daughter could that possibly be?
Then who knows? Regular listeners might know, but like the lifelong grudge and the like will do essentially anything to destroy someone who crosses her, even sort of accidentally.
And even
It's scary if it was your kids.
children from the sandpit from when she was a wee child.
Yeah.
So kids are, not off limits.
It's very scary.
She's terrifying. So the interesting thing everyone's watched it, so we probably don't need to go through what happened so much. But the interesting thing for me was the response of the rest of the group at the dinner table when it came up. First of all, Cody, the way he brought it up. It didn't need to be brought up at the dinner table at all, unless you're making a telly show.
I mean, that whole thing, right? Like, so I do think we should, because I know for a fact there are people who listen to this podcast and don't watch the show.
Oh, okay.
So
Give us the TLDR.
Well, essentially, like they've all known for a number of days about this. It's been circulated or shown, and it feels like that producers, for whatever reason, they have no one has told her about it. The only people who don't know for sure are Mitch and Ella and potentially Al, and they basically are trying to figure out. I think the likes of Selena and to a lesser extent Tamara want to tell her in a way that's kind of as kind as possible while also being on camera. And it ends up being that Cody, who just doesn't know how to do anything, but also like someone had to do it. Like the way that he did it was terrible, but I also was like, at least he acknowledged that he'd botched it, and there was something kind of like he was trying. I don't think he had bad intentions with it.
I don't know. I think I would agree with you, except for the way that he did it for me by saying to Jack, does Jack know? Do you know this?
That's very true.
And he was grinning, that horrible Cody grin.
Yeah, and to me that spoke of the whole group of what they thought of the fact that she had an OnlyFans. So while they were all going, no judgment, you can do what you want, your body, your choice, it's 2021 and so on, the fact that he was like, does your husband know that you have an OnlyFans? That was the sentiment behind it. Liv was hoping to be dropping this big bombshell to Jack, essentially, because she stated last week that she wanted to see them break up, essentially. She wanted them both to be miserable. And in her mind, I'm sure that this was something that she felt may do that. And as the expert said, she dropped the grenade and walked away.
But thankfully, Jack is king shit.
Jack really just owned this week.
Incredible performance.
Just outstanding. And, and I loved as soon as he said, yeah, I know about it.
I don't care.
I've known about it since I was just like, these two people have handled this so well from day one.
How lucky is the production, like given all of the potential bad outcomes here, that they got two people as evolved and like volatile, incredible television, but also just centered and just looked at shit the right way. And there was so frequently, I don't know about you guys, but when I was watching it, I was like, when Dominica came over to kind of confront the table, I was like, there's so many opportunities for it to go badly. And who knows, maybe it was a kind edit but it certainly didn't seem to. And then the way that when Olivia did that final, like just keep going, just her awful toxic behavior, and Dominica's just like, I'm taking myself out of this situation. You're just like, yes.
No one
amazing.
apologised. No one apologised. And I'm mostly really disappointed in Tamara, who I thought was a good friend of Dom's and who really defended herself, but in a kind of you brought this on yourself. You did it. These are the consequences. I would never do such a thing. So there was so much judgment loaded in what she was saying. Selena, I think, was just more like flapping around and all lost at sea. Like she genuinely wanted to tell Dom in private, and then when it came up that the photo kind of, we just seen it, and she sort of said, come on, I wasn't the only person in the room. She was looking for backup to say, let's at least own up to having all seen it and all passed it around.
It was so tense. Even in the lead up to it where you knew that everyone knew, but they were trying to play it differently. Like Brent, I think Brent was trying to act like, he was like, he said, I'm not talking about it at one stage, because I wonder if they thought if we don't talk about it, it won't make the show. Like, we'll just try and ignore it. But Selena had already talked about it. Like, there was no way they were going to be able to cut around this massive thing. So I really love it. You could see all the cogs working of people trying to figure out like how it's going to
play out.
And it played for what it was, like you say, incredibly. Like we talk about reality TV being a place where you can have these like insane progressive conversations, and I feel like this is a perfect example of it.
Yeah, and also I think that, we know Dom's fiery. We know that if you kind of pick away at her, she blows, and she really handled herself so well. She let Jack be the spokesperson for them as a couple for a minute. Then she took herself off with Ella, had a moment. Ella was an incredible support person. Came back, and as you say, she got up and left. Obviously, there was a little bit of back and forth before that, but nothing to the level that you would expect given the situation. Ella, the voice of reason. Brent backs up Ella as well when they come back and Dom and Jack have gone. When you think about the difference between Dom and Liv and how they approach things, Dom's only ever bailed people up about and like stuck her nose in about relationships, right? About their relationships and how they're treating other people, and this is what the show's about. Putting her in the hot seat about something that's like incredibly personal, has nothing to do with the relationship, is completely so. Liv trying to say, it's no different to her butting her nose in on these other things. I don't have to say that, obviously, it's black and white, but I just the thinking of this woman, it's just so mean.
It's so mean. But I don't know if you've seen, there is a petition that's now being circulated, which is going to reach 150,000 signatures, which is for the E-Safety Commissioner to commence action against Olivia Fraser for image-based abuse.
Well, this is what I was wondering when we were watching it, because I'm like, this. What exactly is the difference between this and like revenge porn? Like, it's obviously like the way that she obtained the image, but the way that she circulated the image was absolutely in that kind of realm. Like, it's a really, really, it's one of these like, it's quite a fascinating, it's an appalling incident, but also one that kind of really does speak to the sort of where we are now as society. Again, to your point, Alex, about reality TV as a window into our kind of contemporary mores that we just don't get anywhere else.
I think as well, you have to look at the fact that she doesn't own the photo. So on a very basic copyright level, right, if she's distributing a photo that she doesn't own, and then obviously there's the revenge porn thing tied into that, because I think people think of revenge porn as purely between whoever's like in a relationship with someone. But the fact of the matter is using someone's image, and it is a personal image because it's behind a paywall and it's also belongs to whoever took the image. So distributing it legally, surely that's revenge porn.
And she knew the moment she started sharing it that this was going to be in front of all of Australia. Like, she even says it at the table where she's like, it's leaking right now. It was like the Joker. Like, it was like the Joker setting off a bomb in fucking Gotham.
Also, the fact she didn't send it to anyone, she was like showing it on a screen, shows that kind of a level of sophistication of like, I think she sent it to Selena, but everyone else she just showed on a screen to kind of like, make sure that they'd seen it, but kind of her footprint wasn't so obvious on it.
To be honest, like, given that that there was a walkout over Daniel and Carolina walking in, cold light of day, when they sort of really think about, what Olivia did and her motivation and the way that she has so consistently tried to goad Dominica and sort of frame her in this particular way, make her sort of too loud, too lower class, too like, I feel like the other contestants almost need to make a call here. Like, it's the way that they, she walks out and then she's like, oh, isn't the vibe here so much better? You're like, how can you even be around this person when the way that she was speaking to Dominica after just manifestly wronging her?
Yeah, and I really take opposition to the whole group sort of going, as we mentioned, that it was just in passing. Did they not see, obviously Olivia is the person who's had this major, and we're not talking about minor, conflict with Dom. We're talking about the dramas of the season. Huge. She's got a vendetta. And she's showing them, and everyone's kind of defending themselves like, oh, she's just showing us, like, oh, hey, guys, did you know? Like,
I can't blame what my eyes see.
They're
you're all adults as well. That's the thing. They're acting like, Jack said that they were just acting like high school idiots.
It was Tamara in particular. I think she was so worried about being complicit in this thing that she was coming up with any kind of weak defense she could.
There's some interesting insight from the MAFS subreddit. That's my partner.
Can I just remind everyone that I had never watched MAFS before this, thought it was too many hours a week of television to commit to, and now he's in the subreddits. But carry on.
I wrote leave and then I changed it to stay. Okay, so my partner was straight into the subreddits as soon as it finished, and then I was secondhand getting the information from her. But Dom was doing some sort of AMA after the episode aired.
Oh, wow.
And apparently the immediate aftermath, I think the week after that episode was shot, she received honest, genuine apologies from Brent and from Selena. Nothing from Tamara, nothing from Sam, nothing from anybody else.
Wow.
No.
Nothing from Al because he still hasn't seen it.
No else.
So photography. What
is that?
So you mean get on
So like something happens and then it stops happening, but it's still there on this. Okay.
Is that what that icon on my phone is? Is that for...
Love Al.
Love Al.
He's going to be taking photos of the washing in no time.
Can we just shout out Dominica's quote? If they are slut shaming, I'll wear it like a badge of honor. My body, my choice.
Love it.
There were so many amazing lines out of her and Jack where they just like a really tricky thing to lead with, which was just strewn with peril, and they just like absolutely aced it.
Queen shit.
Queen shit.
I mean, I'm very interested to see what the experts do with this because they have got a patchy record on holding people to account, and quite frequently that is somewhat, held back by the fact that they don't necessarily have complete information, but this whole thing played out at a dinner party, so they've got it all.
True.
And I think that the accountability sesh next week is going to be one for the ages.
Alessandra is not going to stand for this shit. I can tell you that.
No.
Shit, I love Alessandra.
I loved Alessandra going way back to the commitment ceremony that started this crazy week when the experts were giving advice to Carolina and Danny as they were leaving. And she was like, I give advice to people in this experiment. You are no longer part of the experiment. I'm not giving you any advice.
Yeah.
She's such an amazing woman. Okay, that's our podcast. Thank you very much. Week 8, we're nearing the end of Married at First Sight Australia. Slowly but surely, and the reckoning is coming at this week's commitment ceremony. Thank you very much to TI here. Thank you to my co-hosts, Alex, Duncan. And thank you, dear listener.
Yeah, thank you, Jane.
Oh, thanks.
Soft clap.
Soft clap.
Hooroo.
Just quickly, if you enjoyed this podcast and value what we do at The Spinoff, please consider joining the Spinoff members. All our mahi is made possible by our members, and we wouldn't be here today without their support. Tautoko mai and head to thespinoff.co.nz/members to sign up.
Kia ora, I'm Duncan Grieve, founder of The Spinoff. You can help us keep all of The Spinoff's award-winning journalism free for everybody by becoming a member today at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Kia ora e te iwi, Te Aihe Butler here, podcast manager at The Spinoff. If you enjoy listening to our podcasts, consider supporting our mahi by signing up to become a Spinoff member at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The Spinoff Podcast Network.